What is up, everybody? It's DIlla926 here, and this is a post-game video after the New York Giants fall to the Baltimore Ravens. What was it, 27-13, I think the final score was. It was an ugly one throughout the game. The defense really couldn't do much. We couldn't stop any of their wide receivers. Mark Andrews actually absolutely killed us at tight end. Marquise Brown had a couple catches here and there. Willie Snead had a few catches himself. We had a tough game. We had a tough game really stopping J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. You know, those guys got it done the whole entire game. I think Dobbins had over 75 yards, and I'm pretty sure Gus Edwards was approaching 100 yards in the game, if I'm not mistaken. And then the times when Lamar wanted to break away and kind of do things himself, I mean, he kind of had his way with our defense at times, and you know, as I knew that was going to be a difficult thing for this defense to stop, you know, coming into this game, just based on how we played against Kyler Murray. I mean, that was a sign of things to come when we played the Arizona Cardinals, just how we would fare against the Baltimore Ravens this week. You know what we did against the Cardinals was a sign of things to come. But yeah, offensively, you know, I thought Jones played pretty damn well. I don't think he had a bad game at all. Didn't have any turnovers. Offensive line didn't give him much help. He was sacked, I don't know what, 6 or 7 times in the game. Can't really blame Jones. These wide receivers aren't getting, I mean, I can't even say they're not getting open, but they're not doing anything. I mean, there was one pass that Alex Mack dropped. There was one pass that Jones put on Darius Slayton that he dropped. Darius Slayton is reverting back to his college days, you know, to where he can't catch the ball anymore. And I always kind of feared that when it came to him. It seems as though he's heading in that direction, so we kind of throw out the idea of him being a #1 wide receiver. You know, in my opinion, I don't think the dude has what it takes. You know, if we bring in a true #1 in here, maybe he can be a good, solid #2, and then maybe Shepard can be our third. But man, I don't know. Daniel Jones is just I've said it so many times this year, and I don't care what anybody else out there has to say about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not getting any help on this team. Not at all. Week in and week out, he's not help. You know, this team is not helping him. The offensive line ain't giving him much time. You know, I see him going through his progressions. I don't see what anybody else sees. I mean, there's a couple times where you see him looking down the field and he's checking it down to the underneath route, or he was throwing it to the running back. You saw him do that numerous times today. So I mean, that's a sign to me that he's going through his progression. So I don't know what you guys see. I just think these wide receivers aren't doing enough, and they're not talented enough to get open to do anything for him. So, I think towards the end of the game, Evan Ingram, he came away with an injury. Hopefully it's not anything serious, but we'll see what happens with him. You know, because we got to play Dallas next week, and depending on what happens in this Carolina-Washington game, which I have on right now, you know, we'll see if we're still in the playoff hunt or not. You know, if Washington wins this week, you know, obviously we're done for. But yeah, what else did I want to talk about in this video? The running game for us was pretty much non-existent. I mean, we didn't do much on, you know, as far as running the ball goes. Gallman had a few runs here and there. Obviously, I mean, Daniel Jones wasn't completely healthy because he never even took off once throughout the game. There was no RPOs, nothing of that sort. But yeah, I wanted to talk about our defensive line and this defense, man. It's just, you know, I hate that we've put all this stock into guys. I mean, I made a video in the middle, in like the first quarter of the game when the score was already like 14-0, and I was saying this game was going to be extremely ugly today. But I hate how much stock this team has put into just, you know, big guys that play the D-line that are just non-athletic, and they get worn down throughout the game, you know, fairly quickly. They just don't have any stamina. These are big guys that just clog running lanes. And man, when you have guys up front that really don't have the endurance to continuously try to apply pressure on the quarterback, because they're just basically run stuffers. You know, you're not going to get any pressure on the quarterback. It's not going to happen. We need pass rushers on this team, and it's something that I have continued to just say over and over and over again in these videos. I can't even count how many times I've said it in these videos. And until we get that, I don't believe this defense is nearly as good as its overall rank says it is, because we don't have those options available for us to go out there and really make a difference on this defense, to make it an elite defense. you know, kind of like what the numbers say we are right now, but I don't believe that to be the case. But yeah, it's just another disappointing loss. And I know a lot of people are going to come out here and talk trash about Daniel Jones in this one too. And it's unwarranted. The guy didn't play bad. There's really nothing else to say about it. Yeah, I hope he's the quarterback of this team next year, and I hope they actually get some weapons. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Now, going into next year, if we don't bring, I'm trying to figure out what would be the best path as far as Daniel Jones, you know, improvement in this offense. What would be the best path to take? Would it be to bring in a veteran wide receiver like an Allen Robinson? I know a lot of people they've come out here and they've talked about, you know, Kenny Golladay, and they want to bring him in, but I'm not that big on Kenny Golladay. I know he's an impact wide receiver, but he's having trouble staying healthy himself. But if I was going to go after either Allen Robinson or Kenny Golladay, I'd take Allen Robinson all day long, because I feel as though Allen Robinson is a more complete wide receiver. Yeah, he's not as big as a Kenny Golladay is, but Allen Robinson can do it all. He makes all the tough catches. He has been fairly healthy throughout his career. I think the second year of his career he suffered a severe injury, but any time after that he's always been healthy. And he's always out there on the field, and he's a difference maker. He can definitely get the job done. But I think for Daniel Jones, for you to see real improvement in him, I think that would be the way this organization has to go, is bring in a veteran. Because if you bring in a first-year wide receiver, regardless if he's a first-round talent or we draft him in the first round, you know, it's going to take time for that guy to develop. And it's not a given that the guy's going to come out and be the next Justin Jefferson. You know, that doesn't happen every single year. You know, wide receivers that are drafted in the first round, they don't just come out and put up, you know, Justin Jefferson numbers. That doesn't happen. So I think a lot of people are expecting that. If that's the route that this team decides to go, I think that's what people are going to be expecting next year. They're going to be like, oh, well, Daniel Jones got his wide receiver. You know, if Jones doesn't play well, he got his wide receiver. You know, his play hasn't necessarily improved, so now we're going to bash on him even more. You know, this wide receiver is going to take time to develop, as opposed to bringing in a veteran guy. But we bring in a veteran guy that's going to cost a lot of money. So I'm kind of stuck between which would be the best choice. You know, bring in the veteran or bring in the rookie. You know, I think if we bring in the rookie, that's going to take even more time. But if we bring in the veteran wide receiver that's been in the league for 5 to 6 seasons, I think he's going to definitely have a quicker, a faster, and more immediate impact on this offense. And he would have more of an impact on Daniel Jones, you know, as far as next year goes. But yeah, I mean, that's my video as far as, you know, the recap of this game. There's nothing really to say. I mean, we got beat pretty much the whole entire game. I mean, it was never even close. So there was really no reason to even go into detail about it. So that's pretty much it for the video. You guys, the Eli videos that I came out with, that's just the way I feel about Eli Manning. I'm not a big Eli Manning fan. I have let it be known. A lot of that has to do with me just constantly hearing from other Giants fans about how good he was. And I don't feel that way. And I never have, and I never will. And if anybody comes at me about Eli Manning, it's not going to change my mind. I mean, I watched the man for 16 years. I watched damn near every single game the man played. I watched a lot of his games live. I watched at least probably 10 to 15. I was at least like 10 to 15 starts that Eli made throughout his career. And I mean, not saying that means anything, but you know, I watched the guy play a hell of a lot of football, and I basically developed this opinion about him. And I'm just a guy that feels as though there were other pieces to these teams that contributed to his success tremendously. And that's just the way I'm always going to feel about it. Nobody, like I said, nobody's ever going to change my mind. But that's just the way I feel. It's my opinion. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I just wanted to make you guys aware, or at least to make you think about these things as far as, you know, when you try to compare, you know, Daniel Jones to Eli Manning, you know, his first 2 or 3 seasons in the league. There is a comparison there. That's all I'm trying to do, is get you guys to realize that. And that's pretty much it for the video, man. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. As always, I appreciate you checking out my content, and I'll see you in the next video for the last game of the season against the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully things break our way when it comes to this Washington game, and we have something to play for next week. But we'll see what happens. And we need Dallas to win. We need Dallas to beat Philly. So that's it for the video. You guys have a good night. Thank you for checking out my content, as always. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye.